The New Orleans Pelicans beat the Detroit Pistons 114-101, and I'm here to give you guys the recap, the player breakdowns, and all you need to know from that game if you missed it, and let's get straight into it. So firstly, the player of the night had to have been Zion Williamson. Zion connected on all levels of the basketball court today. Zion finished with 36 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, and even beating the 13 for 14 field goals made. And honestly, this is a true great game from Zion, not just because he had 36 points, but because he truly responded after a really poor shooting night for him. 4 points in the win against Miami just a few nights ago. And just look at the way he's getting his buckets, attacking straight downhill with the bigger defender in front of him. And he's just finding his teammates as well. He's finding his teammates on the perimeter, connecting on the offensive rebounds, staying active on the defensive end. The defense, he got 2 steals, but the defensive effort isn't reflected in the stat sheet. He is switching, he is communicating, he is a lot more engaged. I know I keep hearing from other people that he's a lot more engaged, but from someone that's watched every Pelicans game for the past few years, Zion Williamson is playing his best basketball, but not just because of the offensive stats. He is playing on the other side of the ball. He's not hiding, and he's not getting his other teammates to carry him. He is really engaged on the defensive end. Next player I want to talk about is CJ McCollum. Now, CJ has been struggling to find offensive consistency throughout the season. CJ is averaging 18.8 points per game, and honestly, it's come at right times. He stepped up when needed, and he's shown his true professionalism. But look, CJ had 23 points, 7 assists, and shot 5 from 9 from 3, all crucial buckets in extending this lead. And he is really showing his true veteran leadership for this squad. He is getting buckets in key moments. He's not rushing the shots like he used to. He's picking the buckets up at the right time and attacking the right mismatches. CJ McCollum can dominate with his frame and his strong size against smaller guards. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it against players like today, Marcus Sasser, Jaden Ivey. He is dominating. And if we get to a playoff situation where CJ is getting guarded by the shooting guard or the point guard, I think he has the ISO ball. I think he has the one-on-one ball. He has different skill sets to dominate the matchup. And that's why CJ is a really dominant player, not only in tonight's game, but for this squad coming forward, especially without Brandon Ingram in the lineup. Now, I just want to talk briefly and give the guys their flowers. Najee Marshall came up big off the bench, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 for 7 from the three-point line, and 50% field goal. Absolute gun. He's a dog. He's a hustler. He does the little things. Not only that, but on the defensive end, he was causing stops. Some weren't even steals. Some were just causing people to throw the ball away, different things like that. I only want to talk briefly about him because I got other people to go into, but this is why we need players like Najee Marshall in the league, and especially on the New Orleans Pelicans, because especially with that Dyson, he's coming in for Herb Jones and he's guarding the team's best player. So Najee, great work, boy. Now, unfortunately, we all can't have great nights. Jose and Trey struggled. Now, Trey, I think he shot 1 for 13 from the field today. That was a dunk at the very start. He finished with 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. However, he finished with 5 stocks. Now, stocks is where you combine the blocks and the steals, and he finished with 5 of them. So 5 blocks and steals combined is really good on the defensive end. And Jose Alvarado, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Kind of did a bit of everything. Kind of came when it needed. Shot 1 for 6 from the field, which isn't great. But honestly, from what they did on the floor on the defensive end, it really made up from what they weren't giving on the offensive end. But when you have players like Zion scoring 36, CJ 23, Najee 14, Jonas gets his buckets, you already know that the offense doesn't have to be clicking. That's the greatness of this depth, is that Jose and Trey can shoot. Trey can shoot 1 for 13 from the field, and Jose can shoot 1 for 19 to combine 2 for 19 from the field. Sorry, Jose 1 for 6. We can still win games like this. We can still win tough, gritty games. So it's great work from the team. Unlucky to these two, but they can keep moving on, and we've got a big schedule ahead for them to hit shots. Now, when we talk about productivity, we think of 2 dudes on the score. We think of Larry and Jonas. And Larry played more minutes than Jonas due to Jonas not being able to really gel well into the game. He also had 5 fouls. But Jonas was big when he was on. He played 19 minutes total, scored 13.6 rebounds. Now, when we're talking about players that are efficient in the time they're on the court, 13 points in 19 minutes is very good, especially for Jonas with the guys that are on the court with him. We saw in the fourth quarter, they were playing through him. They were giving him the ball for post touches. He wasn't necessarily shooting every single time, but he was creating backdoor cuts for other people, open threes for CJ McCollum, different things. And we've seen it throughout the season that when when we have Zion on the court, or when we have Zion off and Brandon off, we could see Jonas facilitating the offense. When he first got traded to the team, he was the primary playmaker, in the fact that you see what Jokic is doing now. Jonas was doing that when he first came to the squad. So I love what I saw from Jonas. And then when we moved to Larry Nance Jr., 9.3 rebounds. Now the 3 rebounds wasn't a lot, but the way that he boxes out people like Trey Murphy, scoot the rebounds, CJ McCollum, Zion, Larry's productivity isn't always reflected in the stat sheet. Scored 100% field goal, which is great. Hit his free throws. And when we talk about Herbert Jones, I've been saying it all season, not on Herb. No one can go against Herb one-on-one. Herb Jones finished with 4 steals and 2 blocks. I don't expect anything less from Herb Jones. Herb Jones has been doing this. He shot 50% from the field. Could have shot more shots with 7 points. But honestly, with the way that everybody was, flowing with the game, it came at the right times. And again, Herb had some open threes from Zion driving downhill. Jonas in the post, kicking it out to him. So that's what I like to see from Herb. Let's keep up the team effort. That about wraps up the video. Only a short video today due to the fact that it was against the Pistons and it wasn't a high-key matchup game. We've got a big schedule coming up ahead and I'm going to break it down for you. Now, the Pelicans are back home and we've got 3 big games from right now to throughout the whole week. We've got 3 big games. Now, the Thunder. We're 1-1 against the Thunder after the 20-point comeback at the start of the season from us. And then we lost to them recently in January. Now, the Thunder are the number 1 team in the league, so this is a great glimpse at playoff basketball. This is all we need to see. We need to see, A, how we play without Brandon against high-key matchup games, and B, how we play against teams in general, how we play against the best teams. Then we move on, and 2 nights after, we play the Bucks. Now, we lost to the Bucks by 20 points. It wasn't a nice game. Trey Murphy didn't suit up for that one. But honestly, I think the Bucks, we match up decently with the Bucks. I feel like with the length that we have, we are a long team. I feel like if we can stop Dame from driving downhill and limit Brook Lopez fading for the threes and Giannis going downhill, if we just limit those players from going downhill, I think we'll be fine. I feel like if they play through Chris Middleton, we are happy with that. That's what I think. And we move to the Celtics. The Celtics, I don't think will play their best players for that game. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, they've been resting for some games. They're taking turns against this Bulls. We saw it yesterday, and they're winning games too. Don't get me wrong, if this Celtics team plays us with Peyton Pritchard as their starting point guard or something like that, they can win the game. So, great great matchup games for us for the next week. Honestly, I feel like the team could go 3-0. I wouldn't be surprised if we go 2-1 or maybe even 1-2. But I think that we can get this 3-0, and this will be a great glimpse of what this team is really made of going into playoffs. Really appreciate you guys for watching the video. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe and comment what you want me to do for recap videos in the future. Pelicans plays. Follow the TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube, and I'm out, y'all. Thank you.